My first appearance on television was in 1961, as indeed was my last appearance on television, but still a story worth recounting. 1961 was early in the history of national TV in the UK. The BBC was covering most of the country by 1955, but still with limited broadcasting hours. And it was in that same year that a group of commercial stations, under the title ITV, an abbreviation of Independent Television, had come into being to bring some competition to the established channel. At this time, all programmes were shown in glorious black and white. There was no colour broadcasting as yet, whereas the paying customer had been used to seeing colour in the cinema since The Wizard of Oz in 1939. I grew up in Cheshire, and the local ITV franchise was the Manchester-based Granada Television. This was set up to cover the Lancashire, Cheshire and North Wales areas, and took not only national ITV programmes, but was also tasked with creating its own output. One such drama series of its own making was called Family Solicitor. This comprised 18 episodes, all made and broadcast in 1961 and starring Geoffrey Palmer. Yes, the same Geoffrey Palmer of Butterflies and many other comedy series. Also starring Philip Grout and Robert Fleming, all well-known British character actors. One of the 18 episodes was entitled First 11 Plus, and this is the one in which I featured. I can't remember the exact plot surrounding the new young star in the show, a 14-year-old by the name of Peter Noone. But there was an open door there for a budding actor wanting a career on stage and screen. In Peter Noone's case, this didn't give him an instant career break. He followed it up with a couple of appearances in the Granada soap Coronation Street, but really hitting the big time after forming the pop group Herman's Hermits in 1962. Over the next 9 years, this group, with Peter Noone as Herman, sold millions of records with 14 gold singles and 7 gold albums of unremittingly clean, feel-good music. Who of a certain age can fail to remember such songs as No Milk Today, I'm Into Something Good, There's a Kind of Hush, and Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter. Peter is still performing over 60 years later, living in Australia, and still looks enviably young and fit. Anyway, back to me and my first TV appearance and First 11 Plus. This episode featured Peter as the schoolboy who was also a cricketer. My school was chosen to host the cricket match in which he featured as a batsman, with the school first 11 filling in as the fielding team. I was the wicket-keeper in the team, so had the pleasure and privilege of standing directly behind Peter as the camera, positioned at silly mid-off, was filming him batting. It rings a bell with me that Peter, as the batsman, hit a cover drive which succeeded in striking the cameraman on his shin, which must have brought much pain for him and laughter for the rest of us. I remember little else about the filming. The broadcast date itself was August the 31st that year, and this coincided with being on holiday in Triada Bay in Anglesey with my mum and dad and brother. Those of you who know this part of the world will know you can't really go any further west in North Wales without falling into the Irish Sea. This geographical fact also means it was just about at the full range of the Granada television transmitter at Winter Hill near Bolton, something over 100 miles as the crow flies. We sat down to watch in the cafeteria of the caravan site where we were staying and waited with bated breath as the titles rolled. This is where the 100-mile gap between transmitter and TV betrayed the technology. It was like watching a raging blizzard. Alas, there was no chance of making out much at all visually. There was sound, but I never did get to see my TV debut, nor was it ever repeated, nor has the Granada Television Archive or anyone else, including Peter Noone, been able to turn up a copy sitting on a shelf. What a shame. My TV debut and swan song consigned to the bin. It might almost never have happened. I even watched a programme on the late comedian Bob Monkhouse and established that he was one of the first to import a recording machine from Sony around 1960 for the price of a small car. His intention was to record as many TV programmes as he could at a time when nothing was recorded, and many broadcast shows were overwritten immediately after broadcast to save on the cost of film. Now, when Bob Monkhouse died, his entire collection was given to Kaleidoscope, otherwise known as TV Brain, an archive of British TV from 1936 onwards, specialising in lost footage. It's well worth a trawl if you have any time and there's anything there of interest for you. I inquired as to whether my TV programme was part of the archive. Alas, it wasn't, so another door closes on this one. I still firmly believe that there must be a copy somewhere out there. Help me if you can.